back home. Been on the road for a long time, and I'm finally home. And per usual, when I go off on the road for a long time, I order some things. And when I get home, it's like Christmas for Steve. And we're going to open these up real quick. While I was away, I did an interview on a podcast about music called the Vinyl Community Podcast. I did an episode of The Mind of the Record Collector with my good buddy Chance, who a lot of you probably know as Concert Buddy. By all means, check out his channel, check out the interview we did together and other interviews he's done with other record collectors. I'll put a link below to all that stuff. I had a good time talking with him. It was a while ago, and I just hadn't, gotten around to mentioning it, I don't think, in one of these videos, so I thought I'd do it this time. So, check that out, will you? Let's dive into these packages. First up from Guilderland, New York. Guilderland, New York. We got Tough Darts and their album called Tough Darts. This came directly from Wounded Bird Records. I'm sure a bunch of you are familiar with Wounded Bird, kind of a boutique CD label for a lot of out-of-print or albums that were never really officially released by their labels on CD. Wounded Bird put these out on CD. And a lot of the Wounded Bird stuff goes out of print and can be very expensive to buy those CDs if you're looking for them. I had that happen with me with some Jimmy Cliff CDs a while back. But the funny thing about Wounded Bird is you got to really check their website, because stuff kind of comes in and out of print here and there. And that also happened to me with the Jimmy Cliff CDs I was looking for, where they were out of print forever. And then suddenly, like now, you can go on and buy the 3 that I was looking for. They're all back in print, but for years they weren't. Tough Darts is another one that I think was out of print for a long time, and now it's back available directly from Wounded Bird for, like $10 or something like that, I think is what the price of their CDs generally are. Punk band, they were part of that New York CBGB scene. I know one of the songs on here, All for the Love of Rock and Roll, but not familiar with any of the other ones. And again, like I said, this stuff on Wounded Bird goes out of print and becomes difficult to find. And since this was available, I just was like, you know what, let me grab it now for like $10 before 2 months from now I go on and decide I want to get it and it's out of print again and, I can't get it. So I just was like, let me just grab it now. Next up from Indian Trail, North Carolina. All right, got it open, y'all. We've got a fuzz box, and their album Boston Steve Austin. Cool kind of, I don't know how to describe them, new wave, punk, I don't know. This was put out on Cherry Red. This is a reissue. I don't know when the original album came out, maybe mid-80s, 86, 85, something like that. I heard one of the songs by them I think in a film or a documentary. I think it was Love is the Slug is the one I heard, and I really liked that and wasn't familiar with this band at all, and just kind of did a little research and was reading up about them. But it was a little tricky to track down for like a decent price. I saw this, a lot of people had offering it, and it was kind of expensive. But I finally just kind of bit the bullet. Even this copy that I picked up, I think, was a little more than I usually like to spend. But I just, I was down there in South Carolina. I'd been working for a handful of months, and I just, when you get that money in your bank account, sometimes you're just like, screw it, I'm buying it. I don't care what it is. So I grabbed that. And this, I think, is a 2 CD set. Looking at the back here, there's all these different remixes and things like that, edits and stuff like that. So there's a ton of stuff on here besides the original album. But yeah, really looking forward to diving into this, because like I said, I know that one song and nothing else, so I'm not really sure what I'm getting into here, but very much anticipating checking this one out. Next up from Midlothian, Virginia. Midlothian, Virginia. It's always kind of fun doing these because, you know, so many of these packages come from towns where I'm picking it up and I decide to read where it's coming from. And the towns, it's never, a lot of times it's never super easy. It's like I look at it and go, oh, I probably should have looked at this beforehand to see how to pronounce it. But this is from good old Midlothian, Virginia. Okay, Wall of Voodoo, Call of the West. Everybody knows Mexican radio from this album, and that's all I really knew about Wall of Voodoo was just Mexican radio. And I don't know who it was. A couple of you out there had been picking up some Wall of Voodoo, probably on vinyl, and we're really kind of talking about the band and talking about how good their albums were and everything. Almost like, you know, I think a lot of people think of Mexican radio, think of it as kind of like a one-hit wonder, novelty-ish kind of song. And so like they never were really on my, you know, list or radar of something that I would even look into until I just saw a lot of you guys talking about this band. So I just finally decided, like, out of their records, let me go with this one because I know that song, and a lot of people had kind of been saying really good things about this album that was very strong. So, you know, I really am curious to see what this sounds like because I'm sure it's not like 10 tracks that all sound like Mexican radio, which would be, you know, disappointing. Not that Mexican radio is disappointing. It's a good song, but again, you know, I think it'd be kind of more interesting to hear something a little varied than that. But yeah, I'm like I said, I'm not familiar with any of this other stuff, and I'm just really excited to, you know, dip the toe into Wall of Voodoo. Coming to us from Berkeley, California, home of Amoeba Records. All right, here we go. We got the Media Whores, Master of Pop Hits. Now, here we go. There's going to be a couple of these. I know nothing about this band, never heard anything by them. This I picked up 100% blind buy, based 100% on Carl Tweed's recommendation. You're familiar with Carl Tweed over in England. Great dude. Does these videos as well, like we all do, and his videos are just great. He does these like capsule reviews. I always tell him how impressed I am, but these little capsule reviews that he does for each and every album, and they're always so articulate and unique. And I think I asked him at one time if he used to write, like if he was a music critic, and I think he said that he used to write for a paper or a magazine or something like that. But I love watching his videos. I love, you know, getting exposed to bands that I've never heard of, including a band like Media Whores. And I just was watching one of his videos not too long ago, and he was just kind of going through talking about them, and, you know, just sounded kind of interesting and sounded like something I might want to check out. And I don't even think I like listened to a song. I think I literally just said, you know what? I'm just gonna, you know, he's talking this band up. It sounds like something I would like. I'm just gonna bite the bullet and pick up the CD and see what we got here. And that's what I did. So I really have no idea what I'm getting myself into here, but, you know, I trust his opinion, and I'm really looking forward to this. Again, like I said, I don't know any of these tracks, but it's got a QuickTime video. How about that? You don't see that too often. I don't know what year this is from. Doesn't say anywhere. But yeah, just really anxious to check this out. Like I said, Carl, you know, always has some great suggestions, and there might be a couple more coming up. From Emeryville, California. All right, we got the Darts and their new latest album, Boomerang. Great band, kind of goth, kind of punk, all-female band. Been around for a little bit. They're on Alternative Tentacles Records, which is Jello Biafra's label. And I don't know how they crossed my path. Something like maybe on Instagram or something like that. I saw a post about them and just kind of took a listen to one or two of their songs and really liked it. And they just put out a new record, and so I just was like, let me pick one of them up. And I bought this, I think directly from the band, maybe on Bandcamp. But I've since listened to this album because I got the digital tracks before the CD showed up in the mail. And I've listened to this record quite a bit, and I really, really like it. I missed out on them. They played a few shows in New York, Philly, that area. But I was still out of town, so I didn't get to go to any of those. But they're touring like over in Europe a lot. They tour over there really a lot. And so I really would love to see them. They just put on a really good show. Nicole, who's sort of like the front woman, writes most of the songs. Keyboard, she plays I'm not a musician, so forgive me, but it's like a farfisa or something. I don't know, whatever the keyboard is, and she's got it. It's like rocking. I mean, you got to go on YouTube. Oh, you're on YouTube, and check out some live stuff from them, because just real energetic shows, just really cool. And the funny thing was, when I was in Las Vegas pretty recently, I went to the Punk Rock Museum and just looking around at everything, and there was a little contribution there by the Darts, some like stage worn outfits, which was kind of surprising to see. It was really cool. But yeah, really good band. Check them out. I myself am going to go back and pick up some of their earlier stuff as well. But really cool band, the Darts, from Montgomery, Illinois. All right, Sicko. This is number 2 in the Carl Tweed recommendation series we're doing here. Another band, like I said, Carl really talked them up. Might have been that same video that he mentioned these guys. And, again, just sounded like something that, would be up my alley, that I'd like. And never heard of them, wasn't familiar with them, and just decided, like, you know what? Carl says they're good. I'm going to check them out, and I'm going to pick up something by them. And I grabbed this one. I'm pretty sure this is the one that he showed in his video, because I think that the ones that I took his recommendation on were the ones he was showing. But, yeah, I think another kind of punk band. This is from, when's this? From 93, I guess. So maybe, who knows, punk, maybe a little bit of grunge going on there. But really looking forward to them. If you're familiar with any of these, please, by all means, let me know. Although I've got Carl's recommendation. What am I asking you to recommend? From Kennesaw, Georgia. All right, y'all, we got the Cogs and Viva. And guess what? Carl Tweed recommendation. The Carl Tweed stamp of approval on the Cogs Viva. Another one that he suggested that I thought sounded interesting, that I might like. I think if I'm remembering correctly, it's been a little bit since I ordered these, but I think he kind of compared the Cogs to the Muffs. And I love the Muffs, one of my favorite bands. So the minute he mentioned that, I was like, sold. I'm going to grab that. And the CD is completely destroyed. Not the CD, but the case. It's all falling apart. There you go. But I got plenty of replacements to fix that. But again, this is another one that Carl suggested people should look into, and I just decided to take him up on that and grab this one as well. I think all these ones that Carl recommended, I found, decent, for a decent price. I mean, I don't know that any of these you can get brand new still. But I found, they didn't really break the bank, any of these that I grabbed. But yeah, really looking forward to diving into this one to check them out, and see what we got here. The Cogs Viva. And from Los Angeles, California, my old home. All right, we got a bunch of stuff here. So first and foremost, This is the Crazy Squeeze and their album Savior of the Streets. They also sent me a sticker and a little button. That's always fun to get little bonus stuff, right? So, Crazy Squeeze, punk band. How I discovered them is kind of interesting. Not too long ago, just a couple of months, I bought an album from a band and bought the vinyl record. And I think I bought it from their label. And when I got the package, I opened it up and there was like an extra album in there that I didn't order or didn't know anything about. And it was this album. And I just was like, what? This is crazy. They just threw in a free, vinyl album with the one I ordered. So I brought it home and finally got to listen to it. And I really liked it. It's a fun, upbeat punk album, just like energetic, kind of a Ramones-ish kind of sound to a lot of the songs. And, I don't know. I just kind of liked it so much that I was like, I want this on my phone to listen to when I'm walking or driving or whatever. And the vinyl didn't come with a digital track, card or whatever, anything like that. So I could have bought the digital tracks, but, I like physical media. So I decided I'd buy the CD. And I bought it directly from the band. Tracked it down. I was trying to order it and was having a little difficulty. I don't think the CD was on Bandcamp to buy. But I found their website and reached out to them. I was like, hey, I'm trying to get this on CD. You still have copies to sell? And they're like, yeah, no problem. And so got this and really happy with this one. Like I said, when I got home, I listened to this album a bunch of times and I really, really liked it. Some of the tracks on here that I can remember really liking was Ooh Baby, I Love You, Hard Living Man, I think Lesson About Love or Twisted Little Secrets. I remember some of the tracks at the end really liking, but yeah, just a really, this band, I would have never discovered them if I didn't get that album just included with the other record that I bought. And, it just turned out to be a win, really, really like this Crazy Squeeze. I don't know if they're still recording. They may have called it a day, but yeah, worth checking out if you like kind of pop punk Ramones, kind of fast, upbeat, catchy tunes. Check out the Crazy Squeeze. And finally, coming from Canada, or is that Canada? Canada is how it's pronounced, I believe. What is this? Agassiz, BC, British Columbia. Agassiz. I'm going to need like Brian or Jack up there in Canada. Maybe they know how to pronounce this. Agassiz. Agassiz. I wouldn't even know. I don't even know where to begin to try to pronounce that. But anyways, it's coming from Canada. Damn, those Canadians know how to pack their stuff. Wow, that was a chore. Anyways, we got Immaculate Machine and their album Ones and Zeros. This is a band, kind of alternative. I had them on like a want list for a long, long time. And again, like I said, I just kind of hit that point where I was making some dough and just decided to go through my want list and buy some of these records that have just been like, languishing in my want list for a while now. And this was one of them. I really like a lot of this stuff. I know one song by them, which is what kind of piqued my interest. And which song was that as I'm looking over this list? I want to say maybe Broken Ship, but I really am not positive. But again, I just remember really digging this tune that I heard by them and just put this on a list of maybe something to keep an eye out for or something to pick up someday. And that day is now, today. Here it is. So yeah, looking forward to checking this out. Immaculate Machine. I'm looking forward to checking all of these out. Really happy with these pickups. Got a lot of stuff that I gotta listen to, and yeah, really excited. I'm excited to be home finally too. So thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Go check out that podcast interview I did with Chance The Concert Buddy, the Vinyl Community Podcast, Mind of the Record Collector. And check out these bands and go watch Carl Tweed's videos. Great stuff there. I'm sure you're going to love his capsule reviews of all the stuff that he's picking up over there in England. Thanks for tuning in. See you another time.